The baby's cry came thin and reedy out of the grass, a sound so small it might have been the wind worrying at something broken. Still, it stopped Eli Mercer where he stood. He had one boot on the low rail of the fence, the other sunk ankle-deep in dust, and his hand was resting on the weathered post like it needed holding up. The afternoon lay heavy across the flats west of Red Willow, the sun pressing down without mercy. Grasshoppers clicked and rattled. Somewhere far off, a hawk cried. The sound came again, not loud, desperate. Eli turned his head slowly, as if sudden movement might frighten the sound away. He listened with the part of himself that had learned long ago not to trust his first thoughts. The cry broke, hitched, came back weaker. He stepped off the fence. The grass was waist-high in places, gone dry and pale by August. He moved through it carefully, boots whispering, one hand drifting near the colt at his hip without him thinking about it. Old habits never asked permission. Then he saw her. She was crouched low, knees drawn in, her back against a shallow washout where rainwater sometimes ran in spring. Her dress was the color of old flour sacks, torn at the hem and dark with sweat along the spine. Her hair had come loose from whatever pins had once tried to hold it, hanging in ropes around a face gone gray with exhaustion. The baby lay in the crook of her arm, its mouth open, its face screwed tight with effort as it cried. Its skin was too pale, the lips tinged blue despite the heat. The woman looked up when Eli's shadow fell across them. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The air seemed to hold its breath. Her eyes flicked to his gun, then to his hat, then back to his face. She pulled the baby closer, as if she could hide it inside her own ribs. "I ain't got nothing," she said. Her voice was hoarse, scraped raw. "I ain't asking." Eli swallowed. His mouth tasted of dust and copper. "I heard the child," he said. His voice came out low, almost rough from disuse. He hadn't spoken more than a few words to another soul in 3 days. "That's all." She studied him the way animals do when they're too tired to run but not too tired to die fighting. He could see the calculation working behind her eyes, see her weighing how fast he might move, whether he might grab. The baby cried again, weaker now, the sound faltering. Eli shrugged off his coat. It was a good coat once, wool, dark brown, lined, heavy enough to turn wind and rain. He'd traded a month's wages for it in Abilene years back, when he still believed in planning for winters. Now it was sun-bleached and patched at the elbow, but it was clean. He knelt slowly and laid it across the grass. "I'm not going to touch you," he said. "You can take it if you want." The woman didn't move. The baby's cry broke into a thin whimper, then stopped altogether. Its eyes fluttered. That did it. Eli crossed the last steps in 2 strides and knelt. He took the baby up without asking, firm and gentle both, the way you pick up something precious that might already be broken. The child weighed almost nothing. The woman gasped, half rising, but she didn't fight him. She just stared, her mouth working soundlessly. He wrapped the baby in his coat, tucking the edges close to its chest, rubbing its back with the heel of his hand until the small body shuddered and drew a breath. The child made a thin, mewling sound and went quiet, eyes closing. Only then did Eli look at the woman again. "You eaten today?" he asked. She shook her head. Then, after a moment, she said, "Yesterday, a crust." Eli nodded as if she'd told him the weather. He reached into his saddlebag, pulled free a strip of dried beef and a small twist of hard bread. He broke the bread in half and handed it to her. She took it like it might vanish, fingers trembling. She ate too fast at first, then forced herself to slow, chewing carefully, tears running down her cheeks without sound. "What's your name?" Eli asked, not looking at her. "Mary," she said. "Mary Calder." He didn't tell his. They walked into Red Willow at dusk, Eli carrying the baby, Mary wrapped in his coat. The town rose out of the plain like a bad thought, low buildings, false fronts, a scatter of wagons and horses tied in the street. Smoke hung over it, smelling of grease and wood and old piss. Heads turned as they passed. Eli felt the look settle on him, felt the weight of him. A man alone might pass unnoticed. A man carrying a woman's child drew interest. The sheriff stood in the doorway of the jail, a toothpick in his mouth. Harlan Pike. Big man, soft around the middle, his badge dulled by years of sweat. His eyes slid from Eli to Mary and lingered. "Well now," Pike said, "what's this?" Eli didn't stop walking. Pike pushed off the doorframe. "I asked you something, mister." Eli turned slowly. "Just passing through," he said. "With a woman and a baby," Pike said. He smiled without humor. "Town like this notices things." Mary's hand tightened in the coat at her chest. Pike stepped closer. "You know, Red Willow's got ordinances, vagrancy, unlicensed women." "She ain't trouble," Eli said. "That ain't for you to decide." Pike reached for Mary's arm. Eli's hand came up, not fast, but certain. He caught Pike's wrist and held it. For a moment the street went quiet. Even the saloon piano stopped. Pike's face reddened. "You best let go." Eli didn't move. He met Pike's eyes. There was nothing threatening in his expression, just a flatness, a settled calm that made men uneasy. "I will," Eli said, "when you step back." Pike hesitated. Then he laughed, a short bark. "Fine, fine, don't want trouble." He stepped back. Eli released him. Pike wiped his hand on his vest. "But she'll need to register. Town rules." Eli nodded once. "Tomorrow." They went on. Mary didn't speak again until they reached the edge of town, where a line of cottonwoods marked the creek. Eli made camp there, small and clean. He gave Mary the last of his water and watched the baby drink greedily at her breast, color slowly returning to its cheeks. As the night cooled, Mary told him her story, haltingly, like she'd never said it aloud before. She'd come west with her husband, Caleb, chasing land that never materialized. He'd died of a fever outside Santa Fe, buried under stones. She'd taken work where she could, laundry, cooking, until she crossed Silas Boone. Boone owned half the town by then, the saloon, the boarding house, the auction yard. "He said he'd help," Mary said, staring into the fire. "Said a woman with a baby needed protection." Eli said nothing. "He paid my room, my food. Then he said I owed him. When I said no, he said I'd pay another way." She swallowed. "He sold me, said it was legal. Sheriff signed the paper." Eli felt something cold and old move inside his chest. "They was auctioning me tomorrow, along with the stock." The fire popped. An ember floated up and vanished. Eli stood before dawn. He saddled his horse without sound, then sat by the dying fire until the sky lightened. Mary slept, curled around the baby in his coat. When she woke, he was already on his feet. "I'm going into town," he said. "You stay here." Her eyes widened. "They'll come." "Not before noon." She hesitated. "You don't owe me nothing." Eli nodded. "I know." He walked into Red Willow as the town awoke, the air cool, the smell of coffee drifting from the saloon. Boone stood in the yard, overseeing the pens. He was a tall man, narrow-faced, with pale eyes and a smile that never reached them. "Well," Boone said when he saw Eli, "you must be the hero." Eli stopped a few paces away. "She's not for sale." Boone laughed. "Everything's for sale." "No," Eli said, "she's not." Boone's smile thinned. "Sheriff!" Pike appeared, adjusting his belt. "This man's interfering with lawful business. I got papers." Eli nodded. "I heard you." He reached into his pocket and laid a folded document on the rail. Pike frowned, took it, unfolded it. "What's this?" Boone snapped. Pike's eyes moved as he read. His face changed. "That's a discharge," Pike said slowly. "Union Army, honorable, mentions an incident." Boone scoffed. "So he fought a war, so what?" Pike swallowed. "It says he put down a camp of irregulars, men preying on civilians, women." Eli said nothing. Pike looked up. For the first time there was uncertainty in his eyes. "Those men," Eli said quietly, "had papers too." Boone's hand drifted toward his gun. Eli moved.
The sound of the shot cracked the morning open. Boone went down hard, blood spreading dark across the dust. Pike froze, his hand half raised. Eli stood there, gun smoking, his face pale. "No more," he said. "Not here." The silence stretched. Then Pike took off his badge and let it fall. By nightfall, Red Willow was a different town. Eli buried Boone beyond the flats, no marker. He returned Mary's baby to her arms and his coat to her shoulders. He didn't stay. When Mary asked his name, he told her, Eli Mercer. She held it like something fragile. Years later, when the cottonwoods had grown tall and Red Willow had changed its ways, people would tell the story different. They'd add words, polish it, make it easier to swallow. But Mary remembered it as it was.